Hello everyone, welcome to my Black Panther review. Black Panther stars Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther, and this movie is directed by Ryan Coogler. So I just came out of this movie about, say, 1 hour ago, and I liked it. I'll just give you my first impressions. I think this movie is pretty average. I don't think, Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 97%. I think this is a little overhyped, because well, I'm honestly more on board with the audience score. I think that's a little more fair. I really agree with the whole 76%. I don't think this is nearly a flawless movie, because there's a lot of flaws. I don't actually see how this movie got such perfect ratings, but that's just my confusion. But let's head into my personal review. So I kind of like to start things off with listing off my cons, then my pros, and then I go into my general verdict. But I do think I might be in the minority here, because I have a few more cons than pros. I don't hate the movie. I whenever someone gives a review now, if you don't love the movie, you hate it. I just think it's a pretty average Marvel film. This has been getting so much praise, and I mean, I guess I could see it, but I just didn't get that feel from watching it. I just well, I'll list some of my problems with the movie first. So I kind of wrote some of my stuff down, so I'm just gonna go in order from that. So the movie's pacing isn't too great. There's a lot of slow parts in the film. It's not generally slow in one area and then it goes fast paced in some other area. It's kind of mixed in there, and I don't know, it kind of took me out of the movie a little bit. I didn't really know how to feel about it. There's some good action scenes, but I couldn't really see what was happening a lot of the times. I think the camera angles and the way it was shot and put together, I think is really sloppy. He kind of like, I can't really see him punching anyone. He kind of just like swings his fist and then they kind of get knocked down, but you can't actually see him punching anyone because the camera angle is all weird and it just keeps cutting. And I don't know, I just couldn't really tell what was happening, especially in the beginning action sequence when he's it's in the trailer where he's kind of handling these criminals out in the forest. I could not see a single thing in that. It didn't help that it was really dark. I did not know what was going on in that scene at all. I mean, I could make out what was happening, but it wasn't enjoyable to watch. I couldn't do it. Andy Serkis did a great job as Claw, but he didn't really do much of anything in this film. I thought he'd be more of significance, but he didn't really offer anything to the story. Now this is a spoiler review, so if you don't want spoilers, just click off the video now, because I'm going to be going over a lot of stuff that are spoilers. So if you don't want to know what happens, please click off. So Andy Serkis' character dies from Killmonger, which makes Killmonger an even like more fantastic of a villain, which I'll talk about later, because he's really good. He's a really good villain. But Andy Serkis' character is kind of this lunatic, I guess. He's been a criminal for a long time, and when the Black Panther we see now, his father was still kind of dealing with him, so he's been around for a while. But he doesn't really do much. Like he seems like a pretty good threat. You know, Andy Serkis kind of makes him pretty good, but he didn't really do anything in the movie at all. This is more of a nitpick for me. Again, spoilers, but Killmonger, who is easily one of the best villains since like Loki, he might even be better than him, honestly, because he had an actual good story here. Got a real good feel for him, and he died at the end of the movie, which is a little disappointing for me, but it fits with his character. That's just a nitpick. That's not really an actual con that I have. I just felt like I should mention that. So this movie kind of had a generic sort of superhero climax to it. Like, it was really different and diverse throughout the entire movie, and it wasn't even, it was a little anticlimactic. I didn't, it was building up to some good stuff with a you know, half the people in Wakanda are kind of divided and they're all kind of fighting each other. I thought that was really good, but it just didn't deliver for me at the end. It kind of just it didn't work. The climax was, you know, a little anticlimactic. The CGI was not that great, and a lot of it is used, unfortunately, at the end of the film with Killmonger and Black Panther. I saw some clips of it before the movie, and it looked a lot worse on YouTube than it did in the theater. But it still wasn't very good. It looked kind of like a video game, and not a very good, high quality video game. And it was kind of like that for the entire movie, but some of the effects are pretty good with the kinetic energy and stuff. But I have a problem with that as well, because leads me into my next point, is that the action scenes are pretty unsatisfying. I was expecting more, like, you know, with Black Panther, you'd have him, you know, beating up more criminals, hand-to-hand combat, you know, a bit more of a nitty-gritty, but it's really unsatisfying when, like, a whole, like, group of people are coming at him and you're really excited for him to take him out, but he just bounces them off with a kinetic energy force field, and it's like, really, that's it? Because in Civil War, he seemed really cool, fast, and, you know, like, I wanted to see him, you know, use those claws and take people out, you know, but he kind of, it was a little anticlimactic when he was fighting people, because when he was doing hand-to-hand combat, it was some really bad CGI, and there was no, I don't know, there wasn't really a way that could have worked, and that's really disappointing for me. Killmonger was there in the beginning, sort of. He had a really good opening scene that I liked, but then he was just gone for like 40 minutes, and you kind of just forgot he was even in the film. You're like, oh yeah, he's there now. I wish we could have gotten a little more of him in the beginning. We got to see a pretty good amount of Wakanda, but it was all kind of like the same places. It did a good job with establishing their technology and stuff, but I didn't really get to see a lot of I didn't really get to see a lot of Wakanda, you know? We kind of saw the same places over and over, and I didn't like that. I feel like there could have been some cool stuff in that whole secret society. And the movie felt a little similar to other movies. Like, I know this is a weird comparison, but didn't it feel a little like Lion King, where, I don't know, kind of a corrupt king takes over, and then the son of the king is kind of gone, and then he comes back and defeats him. It just felt a little similar to that, and where the son has to fulfill the mantle of king, and then the father is kind of not so great of a person, I guess, and he has to do better than him. He has a lot of expectations on his shoulders to fulfill. It just felt, you know, a little similar to other stuff that I've watched. And one question I had was how this really follows in with Civil War, like, because at the end of the film, like the last credit scene is that Bucky is released. He's not in that weird, I don't know what you would really call that, but he's not contained anymore, I guess, which is cool. But this feels like a direct continuation of Civil War, because his father just died, so he's getting the mantle. But at the end of Civil War, he's talking to Captain America, so where is he? Because he can't really go back to the United States. He's a wanted fugitive there, so you figure he'd stay in Wakanda, but he's obviously not there anymore, because a lot was happening, and you'd figure he'd try to help with that, but so obviously he wasn't there. So I'm just wondering how this follows Civil War, because I don't really know what was happening with the whole Captain America thing. I don't know where he is. I don't know how long this takes place after Civil War. That part was a little confusing. And yeah, that'll probably be it for my cons. So I'm gonna move into my pros now and say that the whole cast was fantastic. My favorite characters are M'Baku, played by Winston Duke, Letitia Wright, who plays Shuri, probably my favorite character. She was amazing. Michael B. Jordan as Eric Killmonger. Those three are like my highlights for this, but everyone was great. This has probably one of my favorite casts. Everyone's character was fantastic. I love that so much. The humor worked really well. A lot of it went to Shuri because she was just so well written and so well portrayed. She was just hilarious. I liked how this told a pretty different story in terms of the MCU. It's very different, got more of a story standpoint, which I really enjoyed, and it really expands the MCU, and especially with that ending, what I really liked, where he, he kind of decides to be different and help out the world instead of staying secluded and protecting Wakanda. He just he wants to throw themselves out there and help the world out, so people like Eric Killmonger won't arise anymore, because he generally understood where he was coming from, and he didn't want more people to feel like that. The acting was fantastic, especially from everyone, really. Chadwick Boseman did a great job as the main lead. The villain was great. All the side characters are fantastic. Everyone delivers a stellar performance. It's a fun, entertaining movie. I'd probably watch it at least twice, and that's probably it. Cause it delivers some decent action, some good humor, but really that's it. So this is a pretty average movie. I like all the villains. They all had solid reasoning, motivation, and they just had reasons for doing what they do, and I respected that. And some of the action scenes where he takes off the whole Black Panther superpower, I guess, and he's just fighting in that little pond, I guess, while everyone's watching. Those were some really intense scenes. I didn't really expect that. Those are probably my favorite action scenes because there's no CGI or anything. It's just really good. It was really riveting watching that. And I kind of like the James Bond kind of feel at times. I actually really like that. That's just a personal thing, obviously, but yeah, overall, I like the movie. It was okay. I don't see why this was praised so much as to nearly being perfect from several critics on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't know what their deal is with Marvel. They're kind of always giving them like really good scores every time. I get everyone's entitled to their own opinion, and I respect that because I can't see why they'd like it that much, I guess, but I don't think it's like perfect because there's some pretty obvious flaws in this movie. And maybe that's why I didn't like it too much, because it was overhyped and it didn't live up to that for me. But I mean, because nothing really spectacular or game-changing happened for the movie or the MCU. It was just pretty average of a movie. I think since it's so diverse and different from other movies, it's getting a lot of praise for that, but doesn't have anything to do with the movie itself. Just because it stands out from other ones, which is good, I don't see how that adds to nearly a perfect movie, but maybe I'm missing something. But I do recommend this movie. I think you should go in with lower expectations in case you don't like it, but if you do, then you'll probably like it even more. So yeah, I think that'll do it for my review of Black Panther. My final verdict for this will probably be this is a little hard. I think I'll give it a 7.7 out of 10. Which is pretty much what the audience score is. I tend to honestly agree with the audience score a little bit more, which is weird, but that's just how I feel about it. So I hope you enjoyed my review. I hope you don't hate me for not saying what everyone else says, and that this movie was pretty much flawless and perfect. I just think that the action was a little underwhelming. You know, the whole climax is really underwhelming. I like I don't know. I think I would have preferred a bit more, you know, hand-to-hand combat, nitty-gritty kind of stuff, kind of like a Batman movie or something like that, you know. I didn't really enjoy him using his powers in his suit, bouncing off energy. Just made him feel invincible to other people, and it just made for some really anticlimactic action scenes, which I couldn't even tell what was happening sometimes. But my favorite action scenes were with the I'm sorry, I forgot their names, but I'll just call them like the warrior women of the movie. They were great. I loved all their scenes. They were easily the best part of the movie for me. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed my review of Black Panther. I do recommend this movie, so I hope you found this review helpful, and I will see you guys later.